everybody, one of Wiisdom here. It is, believe it or not, 2 o'clock in the morning, which what else would you expect from me? Things have been crazy here at work lately. It is now Saturday night, Sunday morning, if you will. Could have done this earlier, but I got home, sat down, and fell asleep for an hour and a half, and it was rated at 88% of sleep efficiency, if anyone's scoring at home. For what it's worth, I did take the time and went ahead and busted out, I believe, everything I have in the Super Mario series. I guess I never got around to getting Peach, or I just have her in a different container or something. Also need standard Donkey Kong in that series, but hey, I was kind of waiting for prices to go down. And with that said, I'm going to advance because, as you can gauge by what's behind Wolf King, I'm having more battery issues. In fact, I could have probably unboxed both of these in the amount of time that I've cycled through battery sets. So once again, Energizer, if you would ever care to make really nice batteries, I would appreciate it. Or just refund me my money, and I will purchase something else. That said, I did attempt to do something cool. I was trying to balance the cue ball here. I was actually, okay, two things. I thought I could hide Boo or Toad behind it, and the batteries are flashing. And then I thought, no, what would really be cool is if we could balance it on Diddy Kong. It's a little too heavy, so we're not going to go that route. But the reason we were at the pool table yesterday, no, Friday, well, yesterday technically to me, it would have been, October 6th, right? Friday, October 6th, had a lot of new 3DS games. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions. That's kind of where this ties in, I guess, the best. The new Professor Layton game dropped. And of course, we're getting ever so closer to Super Mario Odyssey. That said, the highlight for me, and the only things that I picked up, again, because money's kind of tight, are these two dudes right here. Koopa Troopa and Goomba. These are the classics. These are the oldest of the old school. This is what I grew up with. These were your garden variety enemies. There was a couple variations of each, and they're special to me. They're something I enjoy, something I look back on, something I see today in this packaging and think, ha, cool. Goomba and Koopa. What I do want to reiterate, I did not pre-order these. I thought I had, just put the $5 down on them a long time ago. Apparently I didn't. And the reason, I typically try not to pre-order anything unless there's an amazing bonus. If there's not a bonus, it's really not worth my time. Just true story. Should apply across the board for virtually everyone. But if you wonder, that's why you get so many games that aren't playable on day one and take huge day one patches and they're still not playable on day one. A lot of that has to do with pre-ordering. People should probably stop that. Anyway, there's a pre-order bonus for Super Mario Odyssey to be announced still at GameStop, so who knows what that's going to turn out to be. And just to further update you, the only one that I think I know of is a coin being given out by Best Buy. So if you're used to the Pokemon coins when you purchase from Toys R Us or GameStop, I guess it's something kind of like that. But anyway, these guys look amazing. But the point I want to make, if you did not pre-order these, and again, the reason I pre-order amiibo is because Nintendo is Nintendo, and they have a very long and very storied history of significantly short shipping initially, right? They do that, in my opinion, intentionally, probably to drive up hype. I don't think it's their intent for people to be like, oh my gosh, there's no Goombas in my area, I gotta go spend $60 on eBay now. I think they do it just to kind of stay relevant type of a thing, It's like, if I come in and unbox this and I'm like, hey, this was the only Goomba and this was the only Koopa Troopa, everyone goes to the stores, you're looking for the stuff, then you're asking your friends. It's just one of those things that snowballs and it kind of keeps them relevant, right? Otherwise, it makes absolutely no sense. It's kind of like fidget spinners, They blow up, nowhere can get them in stock. By the time Toys R Us wound up getting a deal done and actually getting them, it's like they're completely irrelevant. And so now everywhere that has them is liquidating them. It's that type of a deal, right? There's a demand, but initially if you screw with your consumers long enough, they're just going to be like, you know what, no, I've lost interest. That's kind of, you have issues with the traps and Skylanders Trap Team, some of the crystals, batteries died again. Robo burned a lot of people out in Skylanders, even just waiting for Blastertron and Tide Pool. I mean, people will start to lose interest, and it's to the point that they're not even going to purchase it if you ever do happen to bring it to fruition. So, that said, I say that for very good reason. What I want to give you the cautionary tale of, I did not pre-order these two. I was out of town running errands for work. One GameStop that I frequent when I do this on weekends, they had Goomba. They had one Goomba. They got one Goomba. They got 0 Koopa Troopa. They do have a Koopa Troopa coming, one Koopa Troopa coming. And they thought it was going to be there like Monday or Tuesday. Keep in mind, I'm in Texas, so the shipping times are going to be the quickest. It's typically just, next day type of stuff, 2-day, if worst case scenario. Unless they use the post office, then maybe 3 to 5. So, then I was like, man, I really wanted Koopa Troopa the most, personally. And so I went ahead and got back into town later and ran in. I was waiting on a crew to finish up at work so I could lock down. Went up that direction. The GameStop that gets like the biggest stock, like the most, I don't know, the biggest store, if you will. Went in there, they had one Koopa Troopa. They got one Koopa Troopa that was not a pre-order. So obviously, the pre-order people are taken care of. But in terms of just like, hey, how many are on the shelf? 0 Goomba at that GameStop, 0 Koopa Troopa at the other one, and how many retrospectively inverse from that? One of each, and I happened to have them, so I got very lucky, jumped on it, and paid off. So that said, we're going to go ahead. I was polling you on Twitter, and in true One of Wiisdom fashion, the poll ended in a tie. Koopa Troopa, who I prefer, I love both of them, true story, but if I had to pick one of the two, I'd probably lean his direction. He's just like a little bit more dynamic, I think. Plus, Super Mario World, if you grew up with that, you gotta kind of probably lean in favor of Koopa Troopa, but the poll ended up in a dead tie, and I was actually, if we had like 90% of the people say Goomba's better, I was going to unbox Goomba first, but since it's a tie, I'll just be the tiebreaker. So, this is Koopa Troopa. He's fantastic. I've had one of my fantasy football teams when I played that. I would be the Hammer Bros quite frequently. That kind of gives you some idea of how much I value Mario franchises. But this is Koopa Troopa. In my opinion, he looks fan-freaking-tastic. The Super Mario series, best I remember, came out with Mario Party 10. Guess Captain Toad, maybe. This is the Super Mario series. It's got the red base. I guess you can kind of see it there. Again, I've got the majority of the set here. I think we're missing DK. We're missing Peach. Possibly 1 or 2 more. The gold and silver Mario, yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. But Koopa Troopa here, I've got to say, he's going to quickly rise. Of course, we have Waluigi, so he's number 1. Then Bowser looks phenomenal. Boo is amazing. We got Rosalina because we can't no life and camp outside of Target in February 2015. But the bottom line, this is my personal favorite series of amiibo. They're colorful, they're playful. What I look back on the Super Mario franchise and say, hey, this is a good time right here. So these batteries are going to die now. It's $12.99 is the retail price. Not a bad deal. Obviously, I still think $9.99 would be a way better starting point. Now, if you do super intricately detailed ones like some of the Breath of the Wild stuff, the Yoshi's Woolly World type of amiibo, I get bumping it up, but I'm sorry, something like this should be $9.99 starting brand new retail and eventually clearance from there. But spinning it around, I'm so excited about this. For a long time, I have complained about how they don't have the Switch and they constantly are only using the new 3DS and the Wii U. So, discover the power inside, collect, customize, and complete. Finally, we have the Switch. This is the first amiibo that I have purchased that I think featured the Switch. I don't remember the Breath of the Wild having it. It's a new 3DS, the NFC reader if you're like me with an old school 3DS, and still showing the Wii U gamepad. So, again, the selling point here for Goomba and Koopa to non-collectors, non-nostalgic players like myself is going to be, hey, this does cool stuff in Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, plus Bowser's Minions, which again is where they tie in. So score bonuses using this amiibo figure in the game I just mentioned. Place in-game stamps to earn items. So if you can see that, if you're playing Superstar Saga on the 3DS, I guess that's kind of going to be what the stamp would look like. I would like to get that game, but I'm probably going to have to hold out until it's like a Nintendo Select or like a $20 title, whichever comes first. It's kind of the same thing, I suppose. If you want to keep this sealed, you can't use it. If you want to use it but keep it packaged, you're going to need to carefully, unlike I just did, remove everything, because Nintendo, for whatever reason, still puts this right here, the foil cardboard pad that blocks the ability of the NFC to be read by any of the Nintendo compatible devices. So questionable decision at best, in my opinion. And again, that's also hurting things. If you love Koopa Troopa and Goomba and you want to use them, you'll buy them and open them, and if you really, really like them, you're going to then want to keep one sealed, right? And so that means if a store gets a limited numbers and one person comes in and buys 2 of them, which is totally fine in my opinion, it's going to knock someone else out of getting them. And obviously you take that from like your local store and amplify it across the customer base and then take into account the entire fan base, and it becomes quite an issue. So that's it. This is Koopa Troopa. I have to say it's spot on. The green, the yellow, the white, classic Koopa Troopa. Green and yellow, if you did not know, complementary colors. And of course it's the most turtle-esque in my opinion, so that's probably their default. And then of course you have all the variants. You got flying Koopas, you got different color shells, all that good stuff. But for this one, they went with the classic, just straight up old school Koopa Troopa. He always looks so happy, like he's having a great time. He's amazing. And Mario Kart, in particularly Mario Strikers Charge from the Wii, I always had a good time selecting Koopa Troopa. But the figure itself looks amazing in my opinion. And again, it's kind of just true to form. This looks like a playful, it's an enemy technically, sometimes ally, but it just, if you see this and you grew up in the era, it's something cool. If you put it on your shelf, your desk at work, your game room, whatever it may be, you're just gonna see it and be like, yeah, Koopa Troopa. And that's why I was willing to spend $12.99 on it. So again, it came out Friday. If you want to get these, my advice, given the way Nintendo does things, is act now. You could potentially hold out and save money. They might reissue them like they've been doing, which to their credit, they are doing that, but it's like it's months later, and then they're still kind of hard to get. So if you can bite the bullet early, that is probably your best course of action. Again, as much as I'm personally against pre-ordering, with the case of a company constantly doing dumb things like this, I don't think it's a bad idea. So this is Koopa Troopa. I picked him up for $12.99 at GameStop. It was the only one that was not pre-ordered, so it worked out well for me. And yeah, that's about all we can say here about him. So he should do something. I don't know what. But it will work in previous games, and it will work in Super Mario Odyssey. So I don't know. I think it'll work in previous games. It seems like I read that, but I know for sure it's supposed to do something in Odyssey, which it'll probably be the same as like Waluigi and Daisy does, but hey, it'll still do something. So, and if you want the Odyssey set, I'm inclined to think, since that's going to be like their big system push of the Switch, brand new Mario title for the holidays, triple pack and singles, I'm thinking that they would have a pretty decent stock that they would keep, you know, replenished through the holiday season, right? But I don't know that. So if you're wanting that, if you've got the money, if you can put $5 down, if you want to tell your parents or your spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is that buys amiibo for you for gifts, maybe like, hey, I'd really like these, and they might be a complete pain to find later. Maybe we should get them now. And you can always just keep them hidden and then surprise someone at Christmas or a birthday, or just, you know, hey, don't have a bad Monday type of a thing. So keep that in mind, and I tell you that just as a cautionary tale. I would much rather see someone come out and pay full price now than regret not doing so. Or worse yet, you come in and you cave in and give scalpers, you know, way above and beyond what you could have paid initially to have it on launch day. So that's my story. I am sticking to it. I'm stoked to add this guy to the collection. Again, this is personally my favorite series. I don't know how everyone else feels about it, but for everyone that voted in the poll, thank you. It was a tie. So again, I broke it, and we will be taking a look at this guy. I've got some interesting things to say about him, so you'll want to check that video out. But nonetheless, I'll quit rambling. Thanks so much for watching. For myself and the always amazing Koopa Troopa, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell multiple times, whatever fire hoops YouTube makes you jump through now, because otherwise you probably won't know that I'm even here uploading videos. So follow on Twitter and I will link them for you, and you don't have to deal with any of their notification drama. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts on this dude. If you picked him up, let me know. If you wanted him and you couldn't get him, feel free to comment. That way people can kind of gauge maybe regional differences or something along those lines. But only store I hit was GameStop. I don't know about anything Toys R Us, Walmart, Target, etc. I did look at Best Buy prior to this, and it was already check stores, so that means it's not available online essentially, and that kind of backs what we thought at GameStop today. So nonetheless, good luck if you're on the quest to get Koopa Troopa and Goomba. Again, my personal advice, act now if you didn't pre-order, like I did not this time. But as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you back here when we check out Goomba. Adios.